Hi everyone, this is Ali, and this is my first ever YouTube clip, so apologies for a few shadows and poor quality if it doesn't come out quite right. I'm making a Mother's Day card today with the Fifth Avenue Floral Stamping Up set, which I've had for years and years, and I've used some watercolouring on the rose, so I'll show you how I go about doing that today. I'm just going to start by getting some distress watercolour cardstock from Tim Holtz and cover it with my powder tool from EK Success Tools, just to stop the embossing powder from sticking to areas that I don't want it to. And get my Fifth Avenue floral stamp set from Stampin' Up, which I've had, I think it was one of the first ever sets I bought. I've had it for about 16 years. Then I'm going to stamp it with white pigment ink. This is the Hero Arts pigment ink. Just gently tap it onto the stamp. Don't need too much ink. And then I'm just pressing it onto the watercolour cardstock. I am pressing it onto the rough side, but you don't need to wobble or press it too hard. And then I'm embossing it with white embossing powder. Just making sure that I cover all the stamped areas and tapping off any excess gently. And I'm just heating it with my heat tool. Just usually use a mat to cover my desk to protect my desk surface, and just heat it until it's all melted. So after you've finished then all your embossing, it's a bit hard to see because obviously it's white embossing powder on white card. And I'm just going to clean off my stamp. What I use to clean my stamps now is a chamois, just a chamois from the anywhere really, supermarket, and I keep it in a Heinz Baby Basics container so that keeps it moist. And I also use Ultra Clean cleaner. So I just have a cup or half a cup of water with a small amount of bleach added to the water. I think this helps the watercolour ink bleed a little bit and gives it an interesting look when it's painted on. And the inks I'm using are Spiced Marmalade, Carved Pumpkin and Mustard Seed Distress inks. And I have a piece of acetate there that I'm going to use as my palette. So I'm just saturating the card with the bleach and water mix. Quite a bit of water is on there. And then putting my inks onto the acetate to use that as a palette. Just going to spray my acetate with a bit of water, only because I didn't have another fresh container of water handy, so I'm just going to spray it with my water sprayer. And then I'm going to start with the lightest colour. I add a bit more water to the rose first, just to get the water pooling in the petal sections. I start with my lightest colour and just add it in all around the rose. And it's quite light, so it's difficult to see. So then I start adding in the darkest colour, and usually the darker parts of the rose are around the centre, and also the leaves that are behind, or petals that are behind other petals. So just make those areas a little bit darker. And yeah, just blob it in where you think. It doesn't really have to be too neat or tidy. And then just add your colour in as you go and build the colours. So I'm happy with how all the colours are blended. I'm just adding some darker dots of watercolour in there. So here's the rose, it's all dry. I did speed up the drying with my heat gun a little bit. So just make sure it's dry, and then I'm going to cut it out. So I've finished cutting out my rose, and I'm going to get a piece of craft cardstock card base. I just fold that in half and crease it with my bone scorer. Then I'm going to use a paper from the Kaiser Craft paper pad, 6.5 inch paper pad, just a nice contrasting colour, grey triangle pattern. And I'm just going to measure it up on my card, mark it and cut it to size, and I'll just speed this little section up. So once I'm happy with the size and the placement on the card, then I'm going to attach the ribbon before I stick that piece on to the card. Then I just need to make a bow to attach onto the front. Okay, so I've finished my bow. I'm just going to look a bit at the placement of everything on the card base. And then I need to secure that piece onto the card base with my double-sided tape. So now that I've got my rose cut out, my ribbon on, and the card secured to the base card, I'm going to die cut my letters. So the first dies that I'm using are a Dynamics die set, an alphabet set. Obviously I just need the M and U. And then the other set die is a Poppy Stamps die. It's a Massa Leaf background die. And already had one cut out there, so I just used that one that was in there. And I'm just going to die cut those off screen, the letters. So I've die cut my letters and I'm using my Spellbinders tool-in-one to remove the paper from the dies. And then I'm going to glue everything down with a multi-medium matte glue, and I'll speed up that section. Here I'm just adding some 3D foam mount to pop up the flower a little on the card. So here's the finished card, and I'll also have another version of the card with a pink rose that I did earlier. I hope you enjoyed watching the video, and I'll try and make another one soon, hopefully, and thanks for watching.